All right. 1, 2. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Big Bluecast. Today, Monday, January the 4th, not 2020 anymore. Finally. Thank goodness. Bad year for sports, bad year for everything. We are in 2021. Coming fresh off of a couple week or so hiatus. I had some technical difficulties, that sort of thing. And just didn't really want to get redundant with all the bad stuff that had been going on. It's just going to get kind of repetitive. So we kind of figured we would just wait so we could kind of close out the regular season for basketball, talk about the bowl game, have a little bit more actual stuff to talk about. But here we are coming off of this past weekend, New Year's weekend, where we finally got what's become a rare basketball victory and a bowl win in the Gator Bowl over NC State. Awesome. So as far as let's talk about football first. A lot of stuff's happened since last time we reviewed regular season ending. We got that nice feel-good win to kind of cap off the regular season. We fired Eddie Graham. We fired the quarterback coach. We've got new offensive coordinator who's also going to serve as quarterback's coach. Cohen is going to be like a really good kind of dynamic passing and running, just great young offensive coordinator. I'm really excited about that. I think everybody's excited about that. As far as, we're seeing news about, seniors and kind of unexpected people coming back next year after that bowl game finished. We'll talk about that more in weeks to come, with signing day and everything else after we kind of know who all's coming back and kind of what the complexion of the team's going to be. Because for right now, we're just kind of seeing news about that kind of stuff just roll in, day by day, almost hour by hour, it seems like right now. But as far as on the football side of things, where do you really want to start? Where do you want to dive in?
Congratulations on the bowl victory.
Absolutely.
That's always a plus for the program, and it was over a ranked opponent.
3 straight.
Yep.
3 straight, which is awesome.
Over a ranked opponent. So happy to see that. Would like to have seen a better performance out of Terry in his last game. He started off kind of strong, and then he threw the one pass into the bleachers, and it kind of went downhill for him there.
And then,
But
we've seen that before.
Running game worked, and excellent job to Coach Marrow. Because without him, he's not an offensive coordinator. So he went out and called a game, and we beat a ranked opponent once again. So happy and proud.
Can't complain about that. Absolutely. As far as that bowl game goes, let's just kind of dive into that. Like you said, Terry wasn't kind of just typical Terry Wilson. He did some good stuff, but then at a certain point, the wheels kind of fall off when he starts messing up. And, me and you talked back and forth a little bit during that game saying we kind of wish that, especially we got to a point in the game where we needed somebody to make some passes, make some catches, because they were stuffing the box, keeping Chris Rodriguez and Smoke and everybody from running. And we just needed to make passes. It looked like there were several times we could have put the game away and just run away from them, and it just didn't happen. NC State had chance after chance to kind of come back and either tie or take the lead. So it got scary there for a little bit. Things started to slog in the second half, especially all the just unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting penalties, flags just flying. It seemed like on every play, and the game clock just wouldn't churn down further, and it was really frustrating. It seemed like it took 2 hours to get through that last 5 minutes. But all things considered, I will say my favorite thing about the game was the fact that it looked like Kentucky football of old was going to rear its ugly head. We were going to be our own worst enemy, and they were going to come in and they were just going to come back and take advantage of our mistakes and come back and win the game. But we caught an interception towards the end and just kind of put the hammer down and took the win. So I was really happy to see that.
The defense won the game. Those interceptions came in key moments. So
yes,
great job on the defense's part.
Yeah,
for sure.
And we've seen that a lot this year, where the offense kind of struggles to kind of get things rolling, and the defense really just stepping up and taking care of business, doing more than their fair share, in a pretty hard-fought victory.
It was. Like I said, happy for him. Looking forward to the future of the program. I think once we get a more balanced offense, I think we're going to see a really, really good team.
Yeah, going to be a lot more fun to watch than what it, typically what it's been here lately, with just the really like one-dimensional kind of offenses. But yeah, I mean, next year I can't wait to, we got Josh Ali coming back. That was a surprise. Got good receivers coming in. So, these quarterbacks that really didn't get to play a whole lot this year, they step in and are really, good and dynamic like we're hoping they're going to be. And Cohen runs a really dynamic offense. I think next year could be a really fun year. Like I said, all the all the returning guys and stuff like that, we'll touch on that more as we get to like signing day. We kind of know where we stand with everything, because there's not a whole lot to talk about right now.
No, not really. But like I said,
not with any finality.
Yeah, like I said, very happy for the team. Looking forward to it. Getting to open up
good.
next season, hopefully, fingers crossed, against some non-conference opponents. Get the cobwebs.
Yeah, knock some rust and cobwebs off like early on. Have a chance, not have to do that against Auburn.
Yeah, yeah. Not have an all SEC schedule.
Yeah, like I'm sure Mark Stoops would agree. Let's not ever do that.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go through that meat grinder ever again.
If we can help it, let's just not.
I mean, yeah, Auburn wasn't typical Auburn, but we still had Bama. We still had the open against Auburn. We still had both Mississippi teams. I mean,
still had Georgia. Still had Florida.
Yeah, every year, but
Tennessee on the road.
Yeah.
Like, good grief. You look at it, like, the fact that we walked away from that season 5-6, like, I think that's really impressive. And it's a big testament to kind of where the program is and where it's headed. The fact that we ended the regular season the way we did, and the fact that we had that just nice bowl victory over a ranked team, I think that's a really, really sets us up like just in a really good position going into the off season as a program.
Oh yeah,
really, really happy about that. What else you kind of want to touch on the football side of things? I feel like there's so much.
There's so much.
There's so much that's going on.
Until we find out more about who's going, who's staying, might be a good time to kind of move over towards the basketball game. We got a lot to cover on that.
Basketball games. Whew. Yeah,
we got a big game
lots
coming
happened
up
since.
Got
yeah, big game coming up tomorrow. Had a huge weekend. Yeah, I mean, just kind of brushing it because nobody wants to really relive like the last few weeks of basketball.
No, as Calipari told the team after the victory, you're 1-0 now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just to kind of gloss over it, like I don't even remember what the last game was that we reviewed, but needless to say, like regular season wise, we had that Morehead State game, won that, thought we were going to be good, then went on this ridiculous 6-game losing streak. Unprecedented, like history making for the program. Lost to North Carolina, lost to Georgia Tech, lost to Louisville. All those were pretty heartbreaking and just annoying. Close games, like we could have won them if things had just kind of gone our favor a little bit better.
The ball would have dropped at the end of the Louisville game. We'd have won on the buzzer. So
yeah, I mean, so close. Or if we'd had all of our guys who could shoot, and as we'll get. That too, as we'll I mean,
this team has a long
one of those
way
things
to go.
like,
we may be 1-0 in the SEC right now, but
there's I mean, it's the fact that we got the win over Mississippi State on Saturday, double overtime victory. In the grand scheme of things, like I thought a lot of things did look a lot better than they had. Granted, they were pretty putrid for a few weeks. But especially like early on in the game, I thought ball movement, things like that looked better. I do like the fact that we have at least a few guys on the team that you can depend on, like really hustle, go after loose balls. Like they never seem like they're taking time off on the floor, namely like Askew, Mintz, especially. But yeah, I mean, really, let's face it. The Mississippi State game from this past Saturday was the Dontaie Allen game. One of the biggest controversies of this just kind of awful regular non-conference schedule that we had was people clamoring, saying we can't shoot, put Dontaie Allen in. Please at least give the guy a shot. They're saying he can shoot really well consistently, and he can probably do it in a game, not just practice. Like, if he can help, just do it. Cal was relentless and just like wouldn't let it happen. He was trying to force like Terrence Clark and BJ Boston to just be good. Didn't happen. It's kind of why things went the way they did. And then finally for the Mississippi State game, puts him in. Cal gets ejected because, duh. That's just kind of what happens at this when this sort of thing's going on. Bruiser Flint keeps Allen in like the rest of the game from like 3 minutes in regulation on. Hits 7 threes, gets 23 points, 4 rebounds. State hero, and we get our first win in like months. So,
yeah, and hopefully Boston learned a lesson having to sit the bench for the last few minutes of the regular part of the game, and then the overtime. He set the entire overtime.
The entirety, yeah. It was like not quite 3 minutes left. It was like pretty close, like 2:45, something like that in regulation. Bruiser Flint took over after Cal got his nice little ejection. I wish they would mic him. Like, I wish they could have like a boom mic or something on him, like when he's getting ejected, just so like somebody could leak the audio of what he's actually saying to the referees when he gets tossed. Because I'd like to hear that. I'd like for that to be on recording.
Definitely.
But as you know, we all kind of predicted like maybe during the Louisville game it might happen. If not, like if we keep struggling, he's going to like get himself thrown out. He all but basically admitted to it this time. They did it on
Well,
purpose.
he admitted the first technical was on purpose. The second one, not so much. But I'm glad it happened because Boston does not play defense.
Yeah.
He's very athletic. I'm not going to diss him on that, but he reminds me of Archie Goodwin. He forces up shots. He drives to the basket.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have an open lane, gets hit with charge calls all the time.
Yeah.
And he can't finish even when he goes in. So, having him off the floor and having somebody with a better defensive presence on the floor helped tremendously in that Mississippi State game.
Like,
now, Clark is a decent defender. Clark is a decent rebounder. He still can't shoot, but we did miss his presence on the floor. And
he definitely gives us more than Boston.
Yes.
Boston's just like a liability.
Yeah, and Clark's streaky. He'll get in a little streak there where he's actually hitting a few things, then he goes back cold again.
Yeah. Like he's had like the one game where he just drained a bunch of shots, and then but otherwise like you don't really have a lot of confidence when the ball leaves his hands that like it's going in.
Yeah.
You're just kind of you're happy if it does happen, but I mean there's no like certainty like when a guy like Dontaie Allen or to some degree like Mintz takes a shot.
Dontaie Allen like, hitting those threes caused guys to double up on him because the defense to collapse. Sometimes it'd be 3 guys go towards him. And that opened up the lane. That opened up the guys being for Jackson underneath the basket to go up and get a rebound.
Yeah, guys like Sarr like had more room to just kind of do some work.
Going up for a rebound.
Yeah, right. Seriously, I mean the fact that if we're gonna play like 2 bigs under the basket, they need more room than they've had to do their work, and they finally did.
Getting shots to do it. Right now, teams are literally just playing soft and daring us to shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how many games did we see in the non-conference where they literally just threw zone at us the whole time? Like they can't shoot, so just here we go.
They literally just set up like almost like you would for a free throw. They literally just stacked the box. Stack the perimeter of the box.
Just dared us to take outside shots.
Take long shots. 15-foot jumpers. Go ahead, take it.
I mean, it was just like 5 or 6 games straight where we got guys like Mintz or Askew taking threes, or like Boston and whoever taking the long twos that are so annoying to watch.
And then lazy passes getting picked off because they can see it coming from a mile away, and they just start running as the ball goes because it's a long pass. We're passing around the perimeter, and it gets picked off.
Yeah, spending most of the possession, most of the shot clock, just like slinging it around the perimeter. And eventually,
when you make the defense play tight, they don't pick off the ball near as often.
Right. So I mean,
it also makes it easier for one-on-one basketball.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say especially, it was kind of a revelation. It's like we need a guy like Allen on the floor as much as possible. Give that guy a green light and just. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you read articles and stuff the last week or so, listening to like his current teammates, his former teammates, former coaches, like people who just watched him play, like high school level or whatever, basically saying if you get this guy enough open looks, he can get you a handful of threes every game. Let him get rolling a little bit, and they'll fall.
Yep.
Like they said, this idea of like 7 out of 10, 7 out of 12, like if he gets that many good looks, like he can do that easily. That was the thing, like, we didn't have a game the Tuesday before the Mississippi State game. Got canceled due to COVID stuff. So they had the scrimmage against Transy. And that's what they said as well, is that he was like 7 out of 10 from 3. And people just saying, like, we're confident he can do that, like, regularly, and just give him the chance to do it, enough minutes and enough looks. And if that's the case, if we can just depend on that, that totally changes. That gives our other guys so much more room to improve on offense and hopefully be able to come up with some kind of offensive identity, because that's what's really been problematic so far. So we've had like zero offensive identity. But yeah, the Bruiser front taking over, literally just picking the 5 guys that have played the hardest and played the best and saying, here, like, rest of the game, it's you guys, just go. Like, I was very, very happy to see that. I mean, it's kind of interesting. You got your game finishing and double overtime team is Mintz, Askew, Allen, Lance Ware, and Olivier Sarr. Like, well, okay. A couple months ago, never would have guessed that, but you know what? If it works, let's have at it. Yeah, definitely props to those guys.
Oh, for sure.
Guys like Lance Ware, he's been crushing it. I think Askew has looked a ton better in the last couple games, especially to be as young as he is, to be showing that kind of just steady progression, a little bit better decision making, stuff like that. Just better fortitude. That's been very, very nice to see, and we've needed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting kind of going forward, though, because I think the big question going into tomorrow's game against Vandy is going to be, with Cal back kind of, at the helm of things for that game, is he going to give Dontaie Allen like the same kind of room that he did in this one, in the Bruiser front game?
Yeah, well, I mean, Cal really doesn't have much option at this point. Do you know how much flack that he would catch? And especially after he already came out and told the guys in the locker room, look, guys, you're going to give up playing time to this guy.
On tape. Yeah.
He's earned it.
I mean, that's the thing, especially if, because he's going to give B.J. Boston ample time on the floor.
And don't be wrong, we need Boston to play good.
Right. If we want to be able to be like the team we want to be by the end of the year, like he's got to.
He's got to, but he's not going to get better whenever a coach will not sit him when he messes up. Because he's not going to listen. He's going to keep doing what he's doing because he's the number 7 player in the country. And he already knows how to play ball.
And even then, it's just like, if he's still just not that good, and doesn't know what to do, if we've got guys on the bench that can come in and help us win games, we need to win games.
That's right.
Like,
I mean, I understand he's number 7, but I mean, Archie Goodwin was a top 10 player in the preseason lottery poll, and where's he at now?
Yeah, I mean, it's like he got drafted, but not a whole lot after that.
No, he's
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we've seen this kind of over especially the second half of Cal's tenure so far at Kentucky. We've seen examples of where he kind of caters to the 5-star guys that should be, a level better than the guys coming off the bench. I've talked before about saying, like, way back, Isaiah Briscoe year 2 should have been coming off the bench, and like Hawkins should have been starting or somebody. And it just didn't happen because he's got to let his 5-star guy go out there, and we don't want to hurt his feelings or anything. Like, that's not as big of a deal as like what this is right now. Like, if Boston's getting the lion's share of the minutes right now with how he's playing, we will continue to lose games. Like, and if he's sacrificing like that, if he's sacrificing wins so that he can get out there and try to just get better by the end of the year so he can get drafted higher, people are not going to be okay with that.
No.
Right? And we're a smart fan base. Like, we know basketball. We know what we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
So,
when Darcy Goodwin was here, Cal literally had
Yeah.
nobody else to go to in the bench. So when he sat there and said, look,
No.
I don't have anybody to put in his spot.
And there wasn't really, like, I mean, there'd be times that Archie would just kind of drive to the basket, but he didn't really have a lot of guys otherwise on the floor with him that could do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we weren't very good that
Right.
year across
But,
the board.
You know, that little
Like-
line of, well, who else am I going to put in doesn't really work this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's a totally different thing this year because, yeah, I mean, when BJ Boston's going out and, like, just doing nothing, taking a ton of shots and being lucky to hit one, that hurts us.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, there's been times before where we have guys that, you know, are kind of shooting specialists who don't play good defense. So you're saying, well, like, unless they're just draining threes, like, kind of their plus minus is what's going to keep them on the bench because we can't have defensive liabilities out there. Well, Boston doesn't play good defense and he doesn't play good offense. So if you've got a guy that can come in and hit the shots, and that's the thing. So I'm like, he's hitting all these threes right now. He was up to like 4 or 5, and he was playing good defense. Like, he was actually staying in front of his guy for the most part, you know, doing pretty well and just hustling, trying hard. So, I mean, I couldn't really say anything bad about his play. It's like, why would he not be the guy in right now?
Right.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah, we got to have somebody who
So, I
can break
mean-
shots and get the defense to spread out and not just kind of collapse on the basket. We got to make them work. Got to
Yeah,
get ball
I mean-
movement going. Ball movement did look better in this game. But a lot of
Yeah.
that ball movement looking better was the fact that Dontaie Allen was draining threes.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing a good job of going and, like, trying to get set up and find a shot that made sense. He looked like he had good confidence about himself. I mean, obviously, because he was just, like, dropping them like it was
Now
nothing
what we
and just
need is a
kind
second
of
guy
dropping
to be able
back.
to hit those long jumpers. Because if there's just one, they're going to just keep double teaming him. Yeah, the pick and rolls and
Yeah.
stuff like that's going to help get him open. But at the same time, he can't be your only shooting threat because he can't always be.
Like,
on the
if
floor.
Mintz, if Mintz could get just, I mean, he's been pretty good this season, but if he could get just a bit more of consistency, then then you're getting to a point where I'm thinking you need to have one of those guys on the floor at all times, period. Like, that at least I mean, Mintz is definitely not as much of a shooter as Allen is, but if he could get to the point where he's good enough that he keeps the defense honest and they have to show him that kind of attention, then I think that would help us out a ton. Because before Allen, I mean, he was the only guy that could really take a three that I had really any confidence that was going to go in. And he had some games where he hit a few of them. But, yeah, if he could just step it up another level. Because I don't have really confidence that anytime soon Terrence Clark, or especially Boston, are going to do that. But, yeah, that should mean all the more minutes to our good in-state friend Dontaie Allen, because that was really something on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll definitely need him tomorrow. So.
Yeah. That'll be a curious thing to see as well, just kind of going forward in league play. If he gets the time that we all agree he should get, if he can keep just kind of shooting with that kind of consistency.
Don't get me wrong. I
'Cause-
understand they don't want to get him re-injured too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got to get out there on that knee at some point.
Right. I mean, his knee should be fine now. Like, that shouldn't be an issue. He's... I mean, stuff like that at a certain point, if you're going to call it a lingering injury, it's like, dude, like, it's healed. It healed for a year. It's had some twangs here and there, but you gotta get back to, like, putting it through actual work, not just practice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is what 2020, especially from like February on, just didn't have. A weekend of just UK victories, like just winning. The girls team won Sunday. They also went to overtime against Mississippi State, who's ranked It was like 12 versus 13. They got the win. So I mean, when's the last time we had such a good, just like nice, all-encompassing?
Oh yeah.
Like multiple games and we won all of
Yeah,
them.
the raffle team's getting ready to get back to work. That's going to be fun.
Yep.
Yep. Got a great rifle team, so hopefully, guys, 2021 will be a nice, fun year for sports instead of a pulling our hair out year.
Yes, going absolutely bonkers. Like, that's me knocking on wood. Big time, just hoping.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, now we're kind of trudging ahead in conference play with basketball, 1-0. I think that's all we should really focus on as a fan base right now.
I agree.
Just because, I mean, what else are we going to do? Non-conference, let's put it in the rearview mirror. Yeah, we got Vanderbilt tomorrow, and then we got Florida on Saturday. So back to basketball 2 times a week. I'm very excited about
Yeah, back to the grind.
Especially if we're going to start winning.
Looking forward to it, that's for sure. But,
absolutely. That's pretty much all I got, unless you got anything else.
no, not really. Like I said, here's to a good 2021 season, and hopefully we can keep it up. Don't everybody be mad if we come out and get beat tomorrow. It can happen. This team's still got a long way to go.
I think the best thing like the fan base can do right now is just try to have some good vibes about stuff, whether it's on social media or just whatever. Like this team can do something if they figure it out. Like we just need to kind of rally around them and just hope it works.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, just don't get your hopes up really high and then go bashing the team.
Because there's no sense in just being miserable.
Tomorrow's going to be what it is. If we win, awesome.
Yeah.
If we don't, well, let's hope we get better.
Whatever. Let's hope Florida's better. So, yeah. But until next time, we'll probably hit you guys up again kind of later next week so we can review, let's see, Tuesday, Saturday, and maybe like next Tuesday's game. We'll just kind of see. We'll have 2 or 3 games to review. But, yeah, until next time, be sure to hit us in the comments if you got anything to talk about as it pertains to kind of like the last few weeks with, the bowl game, football, anything basketball, especially with things going forward, just whatever. We'd love to hear from people. And be sure to like the video if you like this, share and subscribe to the Big Bluecast channel. But yeah, until next time, let's hope we maybe can rack up 2 or 3 more wins.
Yeah.
Till we see you next time. And yeah, go Big Blue. Thanks for watching.